Here we are for another sports podcast from the Santa Fe, New Mexican. I'm the sports editor, Will Weber, as always, joined by James Barron, who is not eating for once today. You didn't bring your meal plan, James. What's going on with you?
Well, I just ate actually. That was a deal. So
Yeah.
you missed me by about 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's probably because we're doing this a little bit later. We usually record our podcast on Tuesdays at about 10:30. We're doing a couple hours later today. It was last week. I was off on vacation for 5 days after going to the Final Four, and it was so nice. I didn't do anything, so I completely left you on your own. It's like, yeah, James, Haley's Comet could have crashed into Santa Fe, and I wouldn't have shown up to work. So it was all you last week.
Well, it's not like we ever show up for work anyways.
Yeah,
we kind of work from home. So I guess
Yeah.
that's the nice thing. If Haley's Comet took out Santa Fe, we'd be the only surviving members.
Yeah. Well, here we are in the last few weeks of the high school sports season. And to that end, we have our guest today, Kamal Stith, who is a senior at St. Mike's High School. And James, like you and I, every single year, you and I pick an athlete of the year for the New Mexican, a male athlete of the year and a female athlete of the year. And a lot of times there's room for debate. There's it's kind of hard to narrow it down to two or three kids. We'll go through two or three guys and then kind of basically pick somebody based on just almost arbitrary facts. This is one of those years where it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
And that is Kamal, who's one of the best football players we've seen in the last 10 years. Led his basketball team to the state championship and now is doing some amazing things in track and field. So Kamal, thanks for joining us today. Second time on this program. You're the first two-time guest.
First one, yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, well thank you guys for having me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when you get and then when you become athlete of the year, you'll be the first one to be 3 times on this.
That's
So
right.
What I like to hear.
nice. Yeah, so I guess we kind of ruined the surprise for you when we call you in May, right?
I guess so, but I'm not mad at it.
Well, look, every year they have the Sepulveda track meet, which is like this invitation only. It's like this weird kind of, it's like an all-star game, like skills competition where it's a one-time off-track event where you bring the best athletes from around the state of New Mexico for one thing. And I know you were there yesterday, so let's talk about that. What was your experience like for the Sepulveda in Albuquerque?
I mean, its ups and downs, but overall, it was a great experience. Just being in that environment with all these, tough competitors, definitely uplifts me, and yeah, it was great.
Now, what's it like? I mean, you're not just going up against guys in your own class and everything. You're talking about some of the best. I mean, for you, the hurdles, the jumps. I mean, you're talking about the best of the best right there, and you get a chance to kind of test yourself against them. I mean, how hyped do you kind of get for that as you're heading into it, and what's that like when you're out there competing against these guys?
Well, it definitely hypes me up. The energy was high, and knowing that I had the best competition in the state definitely fueled me to do better. So it was great.
You don't get any time off, do you? So you go right from football to basketball. What was your layoff between football and basketball like?
It was maybe a good 3 days before we started up practice again. So not much time off, but honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. I enjoy it. So.
And then what was your from the transition from basketball to track? What was this? How much time did you give yourself?
That one was like a good week because after that final game, the final state tournament for basketball, the body was a little beat up and I had some time off there. So
yeah, it was a heck of a run.
Yeah. Well, what's that transition like? I asked a couple other kids there yesterday about that transition from basketball to track. And, I think people would assume, okay, you're playing basketball, so you're running a lot. But, people don't realize it's a different type of running what you guys are doing compared to what you do in the basketball court.
For sure. The conditioning is completely different, even from football to basketball to track. With basketball, it's kind of just nonstop, down and back. And with track, it's more of, the short bursts where you got to maintain speed. And, yeah, so it's definitely different.
You and I have talked a little bit about your next, what you want to do leaving high school. And I know some schools have probably started maybe reaching out to you and talking to you, but do you want to be an athlete at the next level, or what are your plans after this?
I mean, definitely. I love to compete, so I'm going to try to do that for as long as I can. And I took a visit out to Santa Monica last week, so I think that's probably where I'll end up playing football. So
playing football. Yeah. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Well, I was gonna say Santa Monica, man. You can't beat that for views.
For sure. I have some family out there too, so it's definitely an environment that I'm looking forward to.
Man, you're gonna get all those Southern California guys. Those guys take football and athletics seriously out there too.
Without a doubt. So I'm trying to be in the best environment I can be in, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
What's that experience like for you? I mean, when you go through that recruiting process, regardless of whatever the sport is, and I'm sure for you, I think right now football's kind of the one that you feel like you want to do and everything. But what are you looking for? I mean, when you go to these visits, I mean, what are the things that you really want to see, or the questions you want to ask?
I mean, the recruitment process isn't easy. Um, Definitely, there's a lot of moving parts in it. But, you know, the questions that I usually ask are, you know, where am I going to fit in the program? And if it's something that, you know, I like, then that's a place that I'll consider.
All right, so Kamal, you're going to go out and play football in California. I'm just curious, why football? Like, it seems like you could have played basketball pretty much at a junior college or D2 somewhere. What is it about football that appealed to you so much?
I mean, it was a school that it was a sport that I've loved forever, and it almost feels like second nature when I'm out there on the field. And yeah, it's just a great sport, and I love to compete. So
Are you going to be a quarterback? Is that the plan?
that's the plan. I feel like that's been my position since early middle school. So yeah, that's definitely my position for sure.
Well, during the recruiting process, I'm sure you were not the only recruit being toured at the time. You have a chance to meet some of these other guys?
So it was actually just me on that day.
Oh,
So it
really?
was right after Easter, and I got the invite, so it was just me and the head coach, and yeah, it was a nice little visit for sure.
Are
Kind of
you
like,
an only child? Are you the only one at home?
I have three sisters, so one younger
okay.
sister and two older sisters, so it's
Okay.
a handful for sure.
Were two of them there yesterday? What with you?
So one of my older sisters and then her friends. So
And then her friend. Okay,
yeah,
okay. I didn't know if that was both of them or one of them, but
yeah.
and how nice was that? I mean, not to shift gears here, but I mean, seeing your mom, and I know your mom always goes to games and whatever you're doing and everything, but having your sister and kind of having a little cheering section there just for you.
The support system is great, and yeah, I couldn't ask for a better, you know, group of fans right there.
Hey, your mom doesn't lose her mind at games the way some other parents do. Your mom is very reserved at
Yeah.
games. So, what kind of a fan is she? Does she wait till you get home, you get behind closed doors, like, God, Kamal, you missed that open screen pass? Is she like that kind of a parent?
No, she definitely keeps her composure during the games, but afterwards she'll chew me up a little bit, and it's definitely funny to to listen to her. But yeah,
What
Okay,
did,
so
I got to ask you though, man. What did she tell you after your state championship run, the one that won the state championship in football? What'd she say after that play?
oh, I mean, she loves it. She gives me so much praise, and I don't think there's anyone who supports me as much as she does. So I'm so grateful for her, and yeah, the advice she gives me, it's not always the best advice, but as long as she's trying,
well, you appreciate the effort, right? And the thought, right?
always for
Yeah.
sure.
So I'll ask you this. I know you were hoping to get some new spikes for Sepulveda and they didn't quite come in. Who takes the blame for that? Is it the shipping company, or do one of you two got to take the blame for that?
Blaming FedEx. I mean, they were supposed to come in yesterday, and they didn't come in until this morning. So that's
Oh,
unfortunate, but it's okay. I still got to break them in anyway, so I'm not stressing over it. But
yeah,
it's definitely
yeah.
looking forward to using them.
Are you a big
Was it
shoe
more just
guy?
Oh, definitely a shoe guy. I mean, on the basketball court, I'm always switching up the kicks, or whether it's the cleats. I definitely like to have my options, and shoes are like kind of a staple nowadays. So
Yeah.
mm,
yeah,
how many
definitely.
how many pairs you got?
The top of my head, probably like 20, 15 when it comes to
Dang.
the whole shebang. So yeah.
Oh
Trust
wow.
me, man, that changes when you get older. You narrow it down to like one style of shoe. You wear one shoe. I think I've worn the same kind of shoes every day for like the last 12 years. So it gets like like James and I are of the age where you wear white tennis shoes every single day. We're that guy.
Oh yeah.
Hardly me and my girlfriend. We have a fight over how many shoes we can both have. So just get ready for that. No matter what, man, you're gonna have to fight tooth and nail for your kicks, man. Just so you know.
I don't know if I'm ready for that, but
just
No.
just some adult advice there, man. Before you get really started there.
appreciate it. I'll take that into consideration.
For sure. I'm kind of curious, kind of talking a little bit about yesterday. For you, I mean, and I think we talked about it, the 300 you ran really well. The first, probably the first 150, 200 meters of that, you were in the lead and everything. And then second half of that, I'm sure, I think the fatigue of having to jump and then having to come back and run probably got you there a little bit. But how would you grade your performance overall, from the two hurdle events and the long jump where I think I gotta confirm that you set the school record in that.
Yeah, I mean, the long jump will definitely boost up the score, but I'll give it like a B minus. I wasn't super happy with the hurdles. And, I saw glimpses of stuff that I really liked, and, it felt really good going over the hurdle smooth. And my start on the 300 felt really good. But, there's a couple times I clipped a couple hurdles, got off balance, and wasn't able to keep the momentum rolling. And that definitely brings the score down.
Kamal, last time we had you on the show with Isaiah Dominguez, maybe we got you in a little bit of hot water when we asked you the final score, your prediction for the final score for the 3A football state championship game, and you guys gave us a pretty lopsided number, which James and I thought was super cool. That you just go.
Yeah, Dexter not so much probably, but
yeah, usually people are like, well, no comment. It's a competitive game. We take it one play, all that baloney. But you didn't do that, which was awesome. If I'd have asked you before the Robertson game for basketball back in a month or two ago.
Yeah, at the press conference, man. Yeah, at the press.
Yeah, just throw it out there. Kamal, what's the final score of the state championship game going to be against Robertson? What's your answer?
Well, obviously, I like to say that we're going to blow them out. I knew they were going to give us a good game.
Yeah.
But, I would probably say something like 100 to like 50,
Yeah.
That would be the goal, but,
Nice.
Thanks
100 points in a high school game. That's awesome.
Oh, that would have been awesome, man. I'd have loved to have seen that.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen often.
It totally would have been worth it, man. Do you, those Robertson kids, man? I mean, you see them in just about everything, man. How quickly do you guys start forming kind of relationships or even friendships, man? Because people just think you guys just hate each other, but I know it's not quite like that.
Yeah, I mean, and these guys we've been competing against since middle school, since we were really young. So we developed, the competitive relationships over the years, and at the end of the day, it's just competitiveness, and we can still be friends off of the court or the field.
Yeah. How intense did the trash talking get though, whether it's football or basketball between you guys?
I mean, it can get pretty chippy here and there, but it's all in the love of the game.
One of our favorite players is Michael Marr from Robertson. Now, look, it takes a lot to get ejected from a game. So, were you close enough to hear what the magic words were? You don't have to tell us, but were you close enough to hear it?
I think I probably heard a thing or two.
I can't even imagine what you have to say to a referee to get ejected in a state championship game. It must have been pretty personal. So, yeah, when it comes to that's the thing. That's James and I love Michael Marr just because he's that kid who never stops talking, which is awesome.
Even
and
when he's losing.
You gotta respect the competitive fire and the drive he has. So
yeah, for sure.
Is it a little over the top though, or do you find is it all right by you?
I mean, some people might think that, but me, I don't think it's too over the top. I think it's just good competitiveness, which I like.
Look, we got about another month to go in the high school sports season, maybe a little bit less. And you still got some stuff to do with track and field. You can obviously win a state championship or 2 or 3 going forward. But when you look back at your senior year, is there a moment that's going to jump out at you that just like, man, I wish I could play that thing over and over again?
I mean, definitely winning the third state championship in a row for football. I mean, the brotherhood in the football, the sport of football is different than any other sport. And just being with all those guys and all the work we put in and seeing it pay off like that was unlike any feeling I've ever had. So, yeah.
You got a chance to do something pretty remarkable and everything in trying to, sweep every single state championship. And I don't think that's been done. I think the year that you guys won basketball, you guys didn't win football. And you guys hadn't won basketball since then. Is that something that's kind of stuck in your head? Like, hey, we could sweep this whole thing.
I mean, definitely. And since we were young, we knew that this senior year class of 26 would have a pretty bright season. So yeah, that's definitely something that's been in the back of my mind. But I try not to let it. I try to focus on what's in front of me.
Yeah.
Santa Fe is a weird city in the sense that you got two 5A schools, and then you have St. Mike's and you have Santa Fe Prep and the Indian School, all at 3A. But St. Mike's enrollment is just not it's not a big school at all. But yet the school continuously draws the athletes that make 3A kind of the horseman playground. Why is St. Mike's? I don't even know if you could put a finger on it, but why do you think St. Mike's is so good at athletics? How do they continue to draw athletes like yourself as opposed to going to Santa Fe High or Capital?
I mean, I think the community we have at St. Mike's is kind of unlike what you'll get at other schools. And, we do have enough students to be actually a 2A school. So having that, close-knit environment definitely allows us to, I think, compete more together. And that brings a lot.
Yeah. All right, Kamal. I guess one question we haven't asked you yet, that we should ask you about, because we're going to be talking about it, is your new president? Former UNM coach and your NMSU coach Paul Weir and everything.
Oh, that president. Okay.
That president, not the other president, not the other one. No, we'll get to that one way later. But yeah, have you had a chance to meet Coach Weir? What was your impressions of him as he was kind of going through the process? Because I know he showed up to one of your guys' games.
So I actually haven't met him. I haven't talked to him yet, but I've seen him around campus a little bit, and my good friend Ryan was talking to him, and he said, I heard some good things about him. So I think that having him, with our at our school could be a positive for sure.
Yeah. See, that's who we need to talk to. Will is Ryan. He knows. He probably knows all the gossip.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, everyone's dialed in there. It's such a small community for sure. But yeah, you and I were at that game that night where we were sitting in the stands, and I'm sure to a lot of the kids that were there probably have no idea who Paul Weir is. But I covered his teams for 4 years. So I know Paul Weir pretty well.
Yeah.
I went and tried to track him down in the lobby, and he saw me coming, and he snuck out. He dove out a back window to avoid me. But yeah, he's still got the athleticism. He's got the moves. He's afraid to engage with us. But yeah, we'll have Paul Weir on at some point, and that'll be an interesting conversation. So
yeah.
So look, moving forward, Kamal, state track and field meet is just weeks away. You're nearing the end of your high school sports, really your high school sports career. Been a phenomenal run. Is there anything that you've done that kind of surprises you over the years? You've developed into one of the better athletes the city of Santa Fe has seen in a long time. But anything you've done over the years that just kind of like, man, that actually happened?
I mean, honestly, I would like to say that it's what I expected, I love to win, and, that's kind of my expectation, is to go out there and compete, and I'm not going to compete unless I'm trying to win. So it's, but honestly, juggling it all hasn't been easy. So I guess that's something that, I can give myself some kudos for.
And from an academic side, I mean, you really only got till the end of the month, really, because you guys the seniors get out early before everybody else, right?
Yeah, I think so. We only have I think the countdown is 16 more days of school, so it's definitely coming to an end.
Oh yeah, you're done.
Does that feel odd? I mean, I think we talked about this before with a couple other seniors and everything, and it's like when you talk about it in November or even January, it doesn't feel like it's here. But I mean, you talk about 16 days. Does it start to feel real?
I mean, definitely. It hasn't even clicked for me yet, but being there since 7th grade, it definitely feels kind of surreal leaving that environment after being there for so long.
Well, look, Kamal, I speak for James, but it's been a pleasure watching you over the years. You've always been a great interview. You've always given us time, win or lose. You've been gracious with all that, so we really appreciate it. But it's been fun watching you. You've had some memories that I know that will stick with us for quite a while. And you look, first 2-time guest on our podcast, so there's always that.
It's
you can
going to be first 3-time guest.
Yeah, first 2-time guest is right up there with 3-time state champion for football and all the other stuff you're going to accomplish in life. So there you go. There's that.
Yeah, just leave a spot in your resume for us, okay? Don't forget that.
Just when you're writing out those college letters to people, just say I was a 2-time guest on the Santa Fe New Mexican podcast. So,
there you go.
I appreciate your guys, coverage. It's It's been great over the years. So yeah, loved it.
Well, that's Kamal Stith, senior at St. Mike's High School, our future athlete of the year. Looking forward to watching him at the state track and field meet in a couple of weeks. And there you go. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back after this.
I'm David. I work for Chevron, and this is my New Mexico. Chevron's been here for 100 years. My family could go back even further. All of my brothers work in energy.
I grew up in Farmington, New Mexico. There is a lot to love about New Mexico. We are raising our kids here.
We're here for the long term. I'm paving the way for my daughters so that they feel the same pride in New Mexico.
Here we go.
Well, that was interesting. Kamal Stith joined us, and we had all kinds of audio problems for that. I don't know if I go as far as to say it was as bad as the Andrew Dunn interview we did last year.
Nothing will ever be as bad as the Andrew Dunn interview. As a matter of fact, we still haven't heard from Andrew Dunn since that interview.
He will not return texts or phone calls because he blames us for boarding an airplane.
Look bad because he tried to talk to us on an airplane.
Yeah.
Or maybe he got banned. Maybe that's the other thing. Maybe he doesn't want to talk to us because he got banned off of all those flights.
Yeah. You know what we'll do is we will retroactively block him since he blockade us first. We'll just
you go. There
no,
we go.
yeah.
Yeah, we're not blockading him. He's not blockading us. We're blockading him.
You know, blockade your blockade, Andrew. So Kamal Stith, he's going to be our athlete of the year. I hate to break it to you, but I think the only other candidate that we could have for Northern New Mexico would be, probably Nathan Gonzalez from Robertson could make a strong case for him.
Or even one of Kamal's teammates. I mean, a guy like a Ryan Hunt, because he was, he's on a lot of these teams too. They're kind of. But I mean, when you think about it, I mean, you think of the value that that Ryan had. I mean, they played without him for like 6 weeks, and they played just as well without him. But I think losing a guy like Kamal for St. Mike's, that's a different story. Because he was the guy that really ran that offense and was the point guard on that team. Well,
the debate for female athlete of the year will be a little bit more intense than this year than the boys' side, but we will reveal all that stuff towards the end of next month, end of May, early June is when we usually run that whole package. Of course, we pick athletes of the year throughout the season. Every season we do the top football players and basketball players and what have you. So this weekend in this section, we're going to show our North Stars for the winter sports, which for the first time includes powerlifting. Which we went to last year. Powerlifting, new sport. There's been some new additions to the NMA schedule in the last 5 or 10 years, but that is definitely one of them. And I know you were there for that. So, I mean, it's a different environment when it's not like team sport stuff. It's got
a little bit of like wrestling and a little bit of track, in terms of just the environment and everything and just how hectic things are. Because, in wrestling, you could have one mat where they're like on 130 pounds in the semifinals. And then on another mat, they're like at like 175 or 170s, and it's hard sometimes to keep up with that. And that was very much the case when it came to powerlifting. I think there were like 2 stations like that always were kind of the last ones. It was one day it was a 5A station the next week or the next day it was the 4A station where they were going on till about maybe 6:30, 7 o'clock, and makes for long days for some of those people. But for me, once 3A and 4A was mostly done, I was done. So
you were gone.
It was kind of nice. Yeah, it was, man. They hadn't even finished the whole thing, and I'm out of there. And that usually never happens when it comes to events like that. Wrestling, I'm usually there when they're handing out the trophies and stuff because usually one of our schools, at least in the small school side, usually ends up close or near or on the podium.
Well, I think the next emerging sport that the NMA will probably seriously consider is flag football for girls, which would be in the fall, which would be, I think, a lot of fun. But if they had flag football for boys and girls, but then it creates a huge mess. Then you might actually see guys dropping out of regular tackle football. But I think flag football is definitely something that could be added sometime in the future just because the winter sports schedule doesn't have a lot going on, but fall, you could probably squeeze in a flag football season and just make it competitive and see who goes where. And the problem is, though, if with flag football, what do you do with the fields? Do you play in a 100-yard field? Do you do like an abbreviated? then what happens? So,
Oh, trust me, man. I mean, because a lot of seven. I mean, 7-on-7 is kind of a spill. It kind of has a familiar feel, like flag football is. So I'm sure these coaches could figure that out and adjust accordingly. So and I know there are several other states. I think in particular Kansas and Missouri are two states that are really pushing it right now, and they're getting some help from the Kansas City Chiefs. But you're seeing that sport, at least on the girls' side, grows significantly. Not so much on the boys. I think 11-man is still the predominant sport when it comes to that. But with the way things are going nowadays, I wouldn't be surprised if you saw, if you saw that develop a little bit later on the boys' side, just because I think for the smaller athletes in particular that really can't handle the grind of football as well as those bigger bodied athletes, it'd be perfectly ideal for them because you don't have to deal with the contact and everything, and you need that quickness out there.
Yep. Well, some news from late last week. St. Michael's has hired themselves a brand new president. And
Wait, what?
It's a guy that we both know, Paul Weir. And as I wrote a column.
Never heard the guy. Never heard of him.
It was, look, with all due respect to some of the other candidates, you hire Paul Weir and it gets everyone talking about your school, about him. And that was certainly the case. If you could hire anyone off the street, and it'll be kind of almost a little transaction in the sports section or something. But hire Paul Weir, it's like, oh yeah. But yeah, the former New Mexico State, the former New Mexico Lobos head coach for basketball, and the former athletic director at Eastern New Mexico is now the president, or will be the president at St. Mike's. He takes over on June 1st. We have extended an offer to Paul to join our podcast.
Yeah.
And he wants to wait until he takes over. So we might not see Paul's face on here till June 1st.
The summer. And I think a lot of that just has to deal with the contractual obligations that he has at Abilene Christian. I think their contracts generally run through June. It kind of corresponds with the fiscal years with most states and everything. And that's a big reason why he's not going to be here yet. So, but we'll see him soon enough. And at some point, we will have him on the podcast, right, Will? He can't dodge us forever.
He did say he would join our podcast before he does someone else's, which is true. You're in Santa Fe territory now, Paul. You got to join our podcast first.
If we see him on Grammars, man, we're
then you know
what? Better watch out.
He'll be right behind Andrew Dunn on the blocks list. We'll have to do a blockade for that too.
Do not invite.
Yeah. Now, speaking of Lobo basketball, it's been a rough time for them. Of course, their season comes to an end in the NIT semifinals, and since then, it's almost like last year where everyone is gone except for one guy. Uriah Tenet is literally the only player on the entire roster right now. Every single player is gone. That includes Sir Marius Thomas. The redshirt freshman guard, he left and is signed with Weber State. He announced that yesterday. JT Rock is going to Kansas State. Of course, Tomislav Bullion is in Maryland. And then, look, everyone's got their eyes on Jake Hall, what Jake is going to do when he jumped in last week. He's getting, as I mentioned in a story over the weekend, he's getting looks from Duke and North Carolina and UConn.
Yeah. I mean, the cream of the crop when it comes to college basketball.
Yeah, these schools which will easily offer him more money than the current UNM coach is making. Eric Olin is making $1.2 million. He could easily draw twice that much on the open market. So, all eyes are on that, and we're going to see just how big UNM's piggy bank is for the NIL.
No, for sure. And it's funny when you hear the numbers that are being thrown out there with a lot of the top end NIL, collectives and everything, how much that they have in their cachet, and it's like, two figures, 10 million, 20 million, 30 million. Now you're hearing, and I got to imagine UNM. I think we talked about this a couple of years ago or last year. We talked about it being around 5 million, and I got to imagine it's got to increase. It's got to be closer to 10 now than where it was at this point last year if you're going to keep up with everybody, right?
Yeah, which just shows you it's college basketball, college sports is broken, man. It's just the amount of money that gets thrown around. The people who get it the worst are the fans, because every single year, every school, especially at that mid-major level, and let's make no mistake, UNM is a mid-major program now. I think there was a time where you could say they're right on the edge of being a major program because the Mountain West was a pretty strong league, but now the Mountain West is splitting in half. They're clearly a mid-major, but you're asking fans of the flagship university from the state of New Mexico to contribute year after year, knowing that it's just not sustainable. It's not sustainable to ask for $3, $4, $5, $10 million from your fans and to give that revenue sharing to athletes, knowing that as much as you're paying them, this time next year, you're going to lose them more than likely. And so it's a huge ask. I think it's almost too big for the University of New Mexico, too big for anyone who lives here to open their checkbook and pay for a quarterback and then have him leave next season when he, after he has a really good year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, your heart goes out to the fans and all that. But anyway, I know you're taking time off this week. I actually have to fill the void, which is really weird because now I have to start working again. I'm not in work mode yet, man. So I think I'll ease myself back into it. I'll go to a baseball game on Wednesday and then just do something. I'll have to find something else to do without you here. It's like, gosh, I have no one to talk to.
Indian School and St. Mike's play tomorrow, so maybe that'd be a good place to start.
We'll be at the Horseman Indian School game, which is a huge one for that district because the Indian School right now is in first place in that district. St. Mike's is, of course, I think the loser of that game is actually in a better spot because then there's a chance you miss out on the top 4 seed. So I think it's tomorrow, the Wednesday game between the Indian School and St. Mike's they're going to try to lose. You want to lose that game.
You're going to see two teams just trying as hard as they can to lose that game, right?
Yeah. So if St. Mike's loses that, you'll see the guys in the dugout high-fiving each other like, whew, man, we avoid that top 4 seed. So we get the bye.
Yeah. Now we can actually play.
Yeah. So with that, we will wrap things up. Again, thanks to our guest, Kamal Stith, just a fantastic kid. We've known him for a while. And anyway, thanks for joining us.